What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of I Know Lacrosse. Today I'm going to be talking about my Cascade S. This helmet I got about 2 years ago and I've put it through a lot. I've played a lot with it just outside of college, obviously, because this is not my team issued helmet, it's my personal one. I know this helmet has been out for a really long time, but I still wanted to make a video with my take on it regardless, just so another video can be made from someone else's point of view. Just like my review of my atrocious Bryant STR, which is sitting over there, I'm going to break this down into 3 categories. First one being comfort, second one being style, third one being protection. I will use a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, for a total of 30 possible points that the Cascade S could acquire. So let's start out first with comfort. If you're like me and you play all the time, comfort is a huge factor of a helmet that really starts to take a toll as you're playing, as that third, fourth quarter hits, as you're sweating and dreading and you're just giving it your all. Knowing that you have a comfortable lid that you don't have to worry about all game long is something that's really crucial to performing at your highest level. For me, the Cascade S fits me almost perfectly. It is one of the most comfortable helmets I've ever worn. That is from a list of the Bryant STR, the Cascade CPXR, the Warrior Evo, and now this, the Cascade S. Those are the helmets I've spent the most time in. I have tried on an R, I have tried on a Burn, I have tried on other buckets out there, but those are the helmets I've played with, so that's what I'm going to be comparing this to. A lot of you might say that this is a replica of the R and with just a higher markup price, and it's not that. The difference in comfort and quality between the S and the R is substantial. The S is much higher in comfort than the R was, and is if you still have it. For comfort of this helmet, I am going to give it a 8 out of 10. The only reason why I'm giving this helmet an 8 instead of a 9 or 10 is because of one thing. This is a problem with the CPXR, the R, and the S. They all have this in common. On our heads, we have something called the occipital bone. This is a trapezoid-shaped bone in the back of our head, about right here. This bone sticks out a little bit farther than the rest of your skull. For me, at least, when I put on the S, when I put on the R, or the CPXR, the pinch in the back that secures the helmet to your head finds itself right on that bone. So that is the only thing that puts comfort when wearing a Cascade helmet of the modern era into question. All the padding is high quality, everything is really nice, really well done on the inside of this helmet, far superior than most helmets that are out there today. So comfort wise, I would definitely give this a solid 8 out of 10, if not a 9 for some people that maybe have a smaller occipital bone than me, but that is the only gripe I have with wearing one of these style helmets. Moving on to style. Style is one of the biggest factors that comes into purchasing a helmet. I, like my friend I Know Football, who inspired me to make this channel, we both agree on one thing. When you look good, you feel good, and if you feel good, you play good. That is one of the bigger mental aspects of lacrosse or any sport that a lot of people discount, they don't take into consideration. So the styling of this helmet, I think you cannot get any better in terms of a lacrosse helmet. A couple years ago when the Cascade CPXR came out, people really thought that was the peak. Then the R came out and they thought that was the peak. I always knew in the back of my head that there was something better and bigger that Cascade was going to put out for us, and I think this is the helmet. Personally, in my opinion, if you do any more styling to this helmet, you're kind of going to be over styling it. It's not going to look as good. It's going to start to look gaudy. And that's coming from me, who has a gold helmet, talking about stuff being gaudy. This helmet has really sharp lines, nice edges. It has a nice lip spoiler back here that just looks really good. On top of that, the throat guard looks like it's a part of the helmet. This TPS throat guard is the nicest throat guard I have ever seen. From hockey to lacrosse, anything that requires a throat guard, this is the nicest one I've ever seen. It looks like it is molded to the helmet, which is exactly how throat guards should be. The only thing that I have with styling is when it comes to configuration. Now, if you're a normal lacrosse person like me and you want to order a helmet, When you go to Cascade.com or wherever their website is, you can configure this helmet. They have tons of colors for the face mask, for the shell, for the chin, but they have one thing that cannot be changed, and that is this. You'll see down here that on the chin, there is a flat black stripe that runs all the way from the chin into the shell all the way back to the tail side of the helmet. This piece cannot be changed. The color of this can't be changed. It is always black. Now, I'm not that picky. I don't care. But if I am shelling out money for this helmet, which a lot of people are going to do, this is a very expensive helmet as it should be, this little piece down at the bottom should be able to be configured to whatever color you want. And I'm going to give an example of this. My high school that I volunteer coach in my free time ordered S helmets. Our high school colors are blue, yellow, with accents being white. For these helmets, we got a black face, and the only reason why we got the black face was because of this stripe. Because if we got a blue shell with a yellow chin and yellow visor with a black stripe at the bottom, with that white face, it just wouldn't look good. It wouldn't look uniform because you have this black stripe that matches with nothing else on the helmet. So we had to go with a black face. While style really isn't everything on a helmet, when you're paying $5,000 for a set of helmets, it would be nice if you could have ones that match and fit the theme of your organization. Like I said, not that big of a deal. It doesn't really devalue this helmet at any rate, but it's just a little picky thing that I have because I'm making this video. I might as well point it out. Without that little chin line problem, it was at this point in filming that my camera had decided to automatically turn off and lose the last 30 seconds of the entire clip. I went on to say how the S gets a solid 10 out of 10 in styling. I truly believe this to be the most beautiful helmet Cascade or any other company has produced. It would be really hard for anyone to make something more attractive. Now, on to our last category. Moving on to the third and final category, protection. This helmet certainly does provide the top level of protection that any lacrosse helmet could provide at the moment. Do I think there's room for improvement? Absolutely. I think with all the advancements in football helmets, lacrosse helmets could really take some notes. I know about a decade ago, Rydell made a helmet that you could use the air pump from football helmets to pump it up and make it fit your head better. I think that's a great idea, and I think that's a good start. I like that some companies will, you have the ear pads that you can remove, you have some pads that are removable, so you can fit your head in there a little bit better. But as far as safety goes, I would give this a solid 9 out of 10. I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10 because there is some styrofoam in here. I'm not a big fan of styrofoam coming from football. I know what type of padding should be inside of a helmet when it comes to superior protection from impacts to the head and neck area. I understand that lacrosse is not as high of an impact sport as football is, and the rules are getting a little bit more tight. So, however, we do have those big hits. We do have stuff that are considered penalties, but individuals maybe let the emotions get the best of them and will use late hits and dirty hits and stuff. It's still around, it still happens, and I really would like to see a helmet come out that really truly protects us from those situations. So adding up all the scores from the three categories, and you get 27 out of 30 for the Cascade S, which is the highest, obviously, for the helmets that I've reviewed, being 2. Comparing this with this is night and day. This is truly an atrocious helmet that I would never put anyone's skull in between. I don't know why I ever got this helmet. It is just so bad in comfort, in quality, in just protection. It's almost crazy to think that 10 years ago I was wearing this helmet, going out on the field in this, and now I am with this. We have come a long way in just lacrosse helmets, let alone the sport. There is a lot, obviously, that has improved. Warrior has improved their helmets to be right neck and neck with Cascade. Cascade has improved their helmets to be neck and neck with Warrior. But like I said, it is a total difference between the two. and I am super happy with my decision to buy the Cascade S. Now I have a friend that does have the Warrior Burn, so I am going to try and get my hands on that helmet maybe during our winter break, being that we're going back to school. However, for now we have the review of the Cascade S. Next week I'm going to put a video out for you guys talking about transitioning into school. Now that everything is kind of being figured out with the coronavirus, COVID, whatever, I'm going to give you a whole rundown of what I've been doing this whole summer just in terms of college. How to pick your classes, who to communicate with, what to say to certain individuals so you can make your transition as smooth as possible. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you enjoy the Cascade S. If you are considering buying a helmet, I think the Cascade S is going to be one of your best choices. Don't cheap out on helmets. If you see an R and it's a little bit cheaper than the S, save up a little bit more, get another paycheck under your belt, and buy the S. This is the best helmet on the market right now. You're going to want something like this. If you think the styling's too much, if you like the style of the Burn better, try it out. Like I said, I haven't had the opportunity to play around with the Burn yet, but once I do, I will make a video reviewing it and then comparing the two helmets. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Bye!